Hello my Banda crew and welcome back to the channel. Today's video we're going to be talking about the potential crossover game of Crash, Spyro, and Banjo Kazooie. Because believe it or not, it is a possibility. This is not just like coming out of nowhere. I will explain it all in detail coming up in this video. But if this is your first time coming to the channel, I release Crash Bandicoot content every single week. We discuss lore, theories, news, we do interviews, we do tier lists, I do Crash Bandicoot toy reviews, I've done like the McDonald's toy reviews from Crash Bandicoot, the Pocket Station, the Pachinko machines, pretty much anything and everything Crash Bandicoot related gets covered here. So if you're a big Crash Bandicoot fan and you like knowing everything and anything about Crash Bandicoot, this is the place for you. So you know what? Just give me a subscribe. And if you end up hating my content and disliking me, just unsubscribe. You don't lose anything from it. And hopefully you won't. Hopefully you will enjoy my content and stick around. With all that being said, let's jump into the topic. So if you told me back in 1998 when Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped and Banjo Kazooie was first released that one day the two IPs might cross over, I'd say you're crazy. Crash Bandicoot is on a PlayStation and Banjo Kazooie is on the Nintendo 64. These guys can't cross over, they're owned by different companies completely. But as the years went on, the franchises got passed over to different groups and different companies, and now, believe it or not, Crash, Spyro, and Banjo-Kazooie are all owned by Microsoft. So, the PlayStation mascot, the unofficial PlayStation mascot, and Banjo-Kazooie from the Nintendo. So we had a Sony character, and we had a Nintendo character, and now they're both on Microsoft. So we're living in a crazy world right now. And the other thing that makes this a little wild, too, is if you weren't aware, Banjo-Kazooie's first appearance in a game was in Diddy Kong Racing. So, Diddy Kong Racing is a spin-off of Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong is in the same universe as Mario. So, essentially, Banjo-Kazooie is like a spin-off of Mario, and now it's possible that it could cross over with Crash Bandicoot. That's really crazy to think about. So now we're going to dive into the information that I have on why I think that it is a possibility that this game could come out in the future. So stick with me. We're going to jump into the first entry of this crossover. So first off, Spyro the Dragon was made by Insomniac for the PlayStation, and it eventually became owned by Universal, and then Activision, and now it is owned by Microsoft, because Activision was purchased by Microsoft. And if you look here on the box art, it says Toys for Bob. Toys for Bob worked on the Spyro Reignited trilogy. They did the Skylanders games prior to this, and then they actually had Spyro be in the first game. His name was in the title, Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, as like a starting off point. So Spyro has been with Activision for many, many years. And when they were done with Spyro Reignited trilogy, they jumped to the next IP that we're talking about. Crash Bandicoot. Toys for Bob decided it was time to make a Crash Bandicoot game. And the game that they made was Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. So you can see Toys for Bob right down there. Toys for Bob made Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. Some people believe that this retcons all of the other games after Crash Bandicoot Warped out of existence. I personally have the belief that Paul Yan said that this game takes place chronologically after Warped and before the other adventures in the series. So I believe that this is a midquel, not a reboot. But anyway, that's besides the point. So, Toys for Bob worked on Spyro, then they worked on Crash Bandicoot, and then after Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, they made Crash Team Rumble. And right now, they're working on another Spyro game. So they're still working with the same IPs. It hasn't been 100% confirmed that they're working on a Spyro game, but once Toys for Bob went indie, they actually made a blog post that I'm going to pull up for you right now. And here it says, "So keep your horns on and your eyes out for more news." Horns on. Like, it's pretty obvious that they are working on a Spyro game now. They haven't come out and said it directly, but it's been heavily implied. And if you guys know Canadian Guy A, he's a YouTuber. He's always talking about Toys for Bob is making Spyro 4, Spyro 4, Spyro 4. We still don't know if it is Spyro 4. We just know that it is a Spyro title. And since they made Crash Bandicoot 4, everyone's of the belief that they're going to make Spyro 4 as well. So a Spyro game seems to be being worked on by Toys for Bob right now. And then Canadian Guy A made another video just recently, and he interviewed Paul Yan again. And this is what Paul Yan said to Canadian Guy A. He was asked, "What other IPs would you like to work on in the future?" And Paul said, "The Honey Bear is the first one that comes to mind. I think we can all agree Banjo's been hibernating long enough, right?" So, we're currently in the year 2025, and they are working on a Spyro game right now. We don't know when it's going to be released, but it's been estimated that it will be released late 2025, early 2026. So at the earliest, the absolute earliest, a Banjo game could be worked on by Toys for Bob, I would say mid to late 2026. That's the earliest that I think that they would start working on a Banjo Kazooie game. Again, that's assuming that they even do make a Banjo Kazooie game. That would be the earliest that they could start production. And it usually takes between 3 to 4 years for a game to come out. So 6 to 4, or 26 plus the 4 years, that would bring us to 2030. So we're looking way, way, way into the future for this potential crossover to happen. So by 2030, a Banjo title could come out, and then they might make a crossover with all the different IPs that they own. What kind of game would it be? Who knows? It's way far off in the future. But I think a platformer would be, the way to go, since that's all the games that they've been making are platformers. I, for one, think it would be a wonderful addition to the franchise. And the last thing that I wanted to say is that there's just such a, giant cast of characters in Crash Bandicoot alone. They have, over 100 characters. Banjo-Kazooie has a bunch of characters themselves, and Spyro also has a bunch of characters. So there's, a lot of opportunity for, nice crossover material. The one that really stuck out to me immediately in my head was this. Mumbo Jumbo and Aku Aku, they're both, witch doctor guys. So, I don't know. It just tickles my fancy, you could say. I would really like something like this to happen. You can have Bottles, the mole, is the brainy guy who teaches moves, and Crash's sister is known to be a little brainy girl. So you could have Bottles and Coco hanging out. And then on top of that, who is another smart mole character that you know? The Professor from Spyro. So you could have Bottles, Coco, and the Professor all hanging out. And then you could have Mumbo Jumbo and Aku Aku hanging out. And then you can have Ripto and Gruntilda, because they're both, deal with magic. So you can have them teaming up, and then Cortex joining them as well with Uka Uka, because Uka Uka is also with magic. There's just, so much potential for these franchises, meshing really well together. You might think I'm crazy, and I might very well be a little crazy. Insane, as they say. But if we live in a world where Spyro, Crash, and Banjo-Kazooie are all owned by the same company now, I think anything's possible, really. Like I said, if you told me back in 1998 when Spyro 1, Crash 3, and Banjo-Kazooie first released that one day all three of these IPs would be owned by the same company, I'd say you were nuts. But anyway, guys, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.